If you're like me and you've ever looked for like an American-made rain jacket, you know they're fairly hard to find and there's not a whole lot of options on the market. But today I'm going to be talking about the Freeman rain jacket. I just got some new equipment, so I want to use the opportunity to kind of test this new filming equipment out, and I figured I might as well do a review on this jacket that I got about a month ago. So like I mentioned, this is the Freeman rain jacket. It's made here in Seattle by I believe it's just a couple that make some. You can walk into the shop, meet them, and actually see where the jackets are being made, which is cool and kind of unheard of nowadays when everything's made by big factories and huge companies. And especially here in the US, it's very uncommon to kind of find a place where you can walk in and meet the people actually making the clothes you're gonna buy. Having said that, you are paying a premium. So this is almost $380, which is a fairly high price, and you're kind of entering the high range area of rain jackets and rain shells. So you're definitely paying a premium for the fact that it's made here in the US, made by people you can actually meet, real people that you're going to be supporting and actually live and work here in the Northwest. So I like that. I kind of get off on that type of stuff. So I'm willing to pay that premium, but some people might not be willing to do that. I'll start by just talking about, this is a wax canvas, not convos, wax canvas jacket. So it's not your typical kind of like plastic shell or kind of like high-tech exotic rain repelling material like Gore-Tex or anything like that. This is canvas with a wax applied, and especially when these are new, they do kind of like have a waxy feeling to them, so you will get that kind of like residue on your hands. It does stop after a while, and it's not like a horrible thing, but just something to keep in mind if that kind of bothers you. The nice thing about wax canvas is it's very water resistant, so this performs just as well as my kind of expensive Patagonia and other rain shells that I own and use. And the nice thing about this is the wax can be reapplied, so you can technically probably use this forever as long as you're willing to reapply the wax and the stuff like that. So a lot of the higher, more exotic material rain jackets, you can't really renew the rain repellent materials of it or qualities of it. There's like things you can apply to kind of renew it somewhat, but you're never going to get it back to how it was when it was brand new after you use it for years. This does come with some trade-offs, so while it does kind of perform as well with like water resistance and stuff like that, it is a lot heavier than just a normal rain shell material. Since it is wax on canvas, it's a lot heavier with that. In addition to that, it's not very breathable. So like Gore-Tex, the big thing there is it has like this permeability, and you get air through there and it's a lot more breathable. But I specifically bought this for around town. This is not kind of active wear jacket. This is not something I would take skiing or snowboarding or hiking. Usually when I'm looking for a rain shell for that type of performance, I usually want something with like vents here that can open up, that's lighter weight, and generally just more kind of tailored for that type of use. This is definitely like around the city lifestyle type rain jacket, not something you would go take on a hike to Mount Everest or something like that. So I'll get into the jacket a little bit. It is, like I mentioned, wax canvas. All the hardware is fairly nice. The inside is lined with flannel. There's an inside pocket here. Unfortunately, I would have kind of liked if the hood was also lined with flannel. That's a little bit of a downside for me. And the inside sleeves are also not lined with flannel. They're lined with this kind of like plastic, normal, kind of like stuff you would see on a normal rain jacket. I'm not sure what type of material it is, but it's not the flannel. And I was kind of a little bit disappointed by that. I think since I kind of get why they did this, it's lighter weight, but you're already not going to be buying this for performance situations, so might as well just have the flannel run through the hood, and it's a lot more comfortable and a lot nicer feeling than this plasticky stuff. So I'm a little disappointed. I think if I were to buy another one of these in the future, I would really like to see them line the entire thing with flannel and get away from this plasticky thing, because I'm trying to get away from the plastic in general. That's one of the reasons I bought this, and I already know it's not going to be lightweight, so just line the whole thing with flannel, make it a little bit warmer, a little bit more comfortable, and I think it'll be a much nicer wearing jacket. So actually, before I take it off, I'll talk about the pockets. In addition to this pocket here, this pocket in here is lined with flannel, which is nice, so you can throw your sunglasses or glasses in there, and they're not going to get scratched. There are two pockets on the outside. They're somewhat small. I would have liked if they were a little bit larger, and I would have liked if they were moved up, because this little lip right here is not quite deep enough, and it's somewhat rounded, so it's fairly easy, even with this buttoned. So I'll button this real quick. Even with this buttoned, it's somewhat easy for like small items, maybe you have change or something, to fall out here just because it's not very deep. So I would have liked to see the pockets moved up, so there's a bigger lip right there and it's harder for things to kind of like bounce out. While I'm talking about that, these buttons, while they are kind of nice and they're substantial buttons, they're really kind of hard to get closed and buttoned up. So I kind of have to press it against my hip bone if I'm pressing to button it. And I think I would have preferred if maybe you can get your thumb in there a little bit behind the button and button it easier. I'm not really sure how you can kind of cut this differently to make that easier, but it is a bit of annoyance. And you kind of have to find like a hard place to press it against you to get this latched. And same story on this side, these pockets are the same. This button material is here too. I'm not sure why they had the little wrist cinchers. I'm not really sure what these are referred to, but the things that kind of make the wrist smaller. I don't know why they have them so far up the wrist. It's not a big deal, but I kind of like on other jackets they have it further down. And while you're looking at this, you can kind of see that I have a light sweater under here that's actually kind of going further than the sleeve. And that's another thing that I want to just point out about this jacket. I wouldn't say it's really a con, it's more just a note on sizing, is these do seem to run smaller than any other rain jacket that I have or any other rain shell. So I'm 5'8", about 160 pounds. And typically I buy medium, and like all other outdoor gear, and all my other rain shells are medium. And they tend to be large enough where they kind of go down a little bit further on my legs, and the sleeves are actually, if anything, they almost seem too long sometimes, but that's really convenient when you're trying to layer up, because this is a medium and it's a lot smaller than the other ones, and as you can tell, the sleeves are not as long as probably I would like. I really don't want my underclothes or my undersleeves kind of protruding past these sleeves, but they do with this jacket. So it definitely runs smaller. I think if I were to buy this again, I would have went with the large. I bought medium because I never buy large in anything, but apparently I'm large with this type of sizing they do there. So if you're buying online, you might want to kind of size up one size higher than you would normally do for like a rain shell or other outdoor gear. But let me kind of get like a full view so you can kind of see the fit on this. So like I mentioned, I'm like 5'8", 160 pounds, and this is kind of what you're looking at. It's a little bit shorter than normal, and it's also pretty fitting, so there's not a whole lot of room underneath for like bigger, puffier sweaters or a ton of layering. So it's fine for like pretty mild weather, but if you're going somewhere really cold and you're looking for a rain jacket that can layer a lot, like I said, you want to size it up. But if you're looking for something more fitting, then maybe this is just what you're looking for. So as you can see there, the sleeves aren't that bad right there, but when you reach forward, you get the sleeves sticking out, which I'm not a big fan of. Let me throw the hood on so you can see that. What's nice is they do have a little piece of flannel right here in front of the zipper, so when you have it fully zippered up, that piece touching your mouth is flannel. You don't have metal touching there, it's pretty comfortable. And they do have drawstrings here, so it draws tighter, just like a normal rain shell. One thing it is missing is you can't really like tighten the waist down at all. But like I mentioned, these run so fitting that I wouldn't really want to get this any tighter. If anything, I would prefer it if they made it looser and I had the option to kind of like, similar to these snaps here around the waist, like most rain jackets, usually it's Velcro or they have buttons or something, so you can kind of get this pretty tight around your waist. But how it's sized already, it is fairly tight already. Now let me get this off and I'll put it on the table so you can kind of see the inside and kind of see the material a little better. I don't remember the exact color. This is not a black, this is more of like a greenish color. They make these in small batches and the colors are not always available. So you kind of have to just go with what they have at the time. Or you can always email them and ask them like what colors are going up. And the owners, the people actually making these, will respond to you, which is cool. So I'll put the name of the actual color of this jacket in the description. But I don't have that just ready off the top of my head. So like I mentioned, this is lined with flannel. It has this plastic type of like liner. Not plastic, but this, I don't even know what this is really called, like polyester or something. I'm not sure, but this is just typical like outdoor gear type of material up here. And here's the pocket I mentioned. There's only a pocket on one side. It might have been cool if they included a pocket on both sides. I don't really see what you would have lost by doing that. I do like the little kind of things they add here. The Freeman Raincoat Company, genuine Freeman. Little note about the wax process they used on this, and just a little story about the company, which is cool. I appreciate that type of stuff. And yeah, this is a little note about the wax canvas they use. So I think this is provided by some company out of Scotland, and they make this wax material for a lot of different companies that make rain jackets, and it's a pretty high quality material. So yeah, if you're looking for a rain jacket and you care about it being made here in the US by people you can actually meet and talk to and live and work here, then this is a great option, I think, and I'm fairly happy with it. My biggest thing, besides the little things I mentioned about the pockets, is the sizing. So I would have went up to a large, but that's no fault of the company. It's not like a problem with the product itself. It's just their sizing is a little different than what you typically see with outdoor wear, in my opinion. But that's my fault. I live here. I could went in there and tried it on. And I think I did actually try on the medium, and some reason I didn't really notice at the time before I put an order in. So yeah, there it is. Hope this was interesting. If you have any questions, leave a comment. I always am fairly active in reading the comments and responding to those. Thanks for watching, and I hope everybody's doing well.